Hey everyone and welcome. Today we're jumping right into the world of technology in the language classroom. We're going to unpack a really key concept, CALL, which, as you know, stands for Computer-Assisted Language Learning.
All right, this explainer is made especially for you, the senior student teachers at the Faculty of Education at Assiut University. We're actually going to use your question bank as our guide to walk through all the core concepts. Think of this as our game plan to make sure you are 100% ready. So, let's start with a big question. When we bring a computer into a language class, what are we really doing? Is it just a high-tech way to play some games and keep students busy? Or are we looking at a deep, fundamental shift in how we actually teach and learn languages? Keep that in the back of your mind as we go through this. Okay, first things first, we have to build a solid foundation. So let's decode this term call and get a really sharp, crystal clear idea of what we're talking about. This is our starting point for everything else. So here it is, the core definition, straight from your course materials. Call is the search for and study of computer-based applications for language learning purposes. Now, your question bank kicks off with a true or false based on this exact sentence, and the magic words here are search for and study. See, it's not just about using the computer, it's about the very deliberate study and application of technology to make language learning better. That little distinction, it's the bedrock of everything we're about to talk about. But here's the thing, call didn't just pop up overnight. It's got this really fascinating history. You could almost think of it like watching a tool evolve, from a simple hammer to a super complex robot. Well, the computer in the classroom has been on a very similar journey, from a strict, repetitive drill sergeant to a flexible, dynamic conversation partner.
This whole evolution really happened in three distinct phases. It all started back in the 60s and 70s with what we call behavioristic call. This was the era of pioneering projects like Plato, one of the very first systems for computer-based education. Then things shifted into the communicative phase, and finally to where we are today, the integrative phase. Now this timeline is absolutely crucial for your exam. You're going to see a multiple choice question that asks you to identify these three phases, so you got to remember those names and the general time frames. Each one represents a huge leap in both technology and how we think about teaching.
Now, what's really important here is the contrast between the old and the new. Early behavioristic call was all about drills, drills, and more drills. The computer was basically a drill master. It gave you a prompt, and you had to give one specific correct answer. So for your question bank, pay close attention. If you see a true-false question that suggests behavioristic call was about creativity or open communication, you know it's false. And if an MCQ asks for the main feature of this early phase, the answer is always going to be something about drills and practice. Modern call, though, is all about real, authentic communication. The big takeaway is we've moved from simple repetition to meaningful interaction. And that brings us to a super critical idea. The technology itself doesn't magically teach anyone anything. A computer is just a box of wires and plastic. It's how we, as teachers, use it that makes all the difference. In your classroom, that one computer can wear a bunch of different hats. And trust me, a big chunk of your exam questions are all about understanding these different roles. So let's ask ourselves this. What is the computer actually doing? Is it acting like a teacher, standing at the front of the class? Is it just a simple tool, like a pencil or a dictionary? Or could it be something more, something else entirely? Let's break down the three main roles that you absolutely have to know.
First up, the computer can act as a tutor. In this role, the machine is the teacher. It delivers the lesson, often through something called modular instruction. It asks questions, it gives you immediate feedback, and it keeps track of how you're doing. Now, for your exam, whenever you see phrases like modular instruction, individualized learning, or self-paced, your brain should just light up and think tutor role. If a true-false question says the tutor provides individualized instruction, that's a definite true. It's perfect for letting every student learn at their own speed.
Okay, next up, the computer as a tool. This is totally different from the tutor. Here, the computer isn't teaching you directly. Instead, it's helping you get a task done. Think about using a word processor to write an essay, or using a search engine to look something up. The computer is making the work easier, but it's not directing the learning. Your question bank is going to test you on this. So if you see a true-false statement saying the computer as a tool is the same as a tutor, that is absolutely false. They have completely different jobs.
And finally, we have what a lot of people think is the deepest, most powerful role, the computer as a medium. This is where the technology becomes a bridge, a connection between your students and the entire world. It makes real, authentic communication with native speakers possible. An MCQ will definitely ask which role is best for this, and the answer is always medium. It's not just a classroom device anymore, it's a gateway to the globe. This is seen as the absolute deepest level of computer use in a language class.
Okay, we've covered the theory. That's great. But now for the part that really matters. What does this stuff actually look like in your classroom? Let's open up our practical toolkit and see how CALL really works for the core language skills you'll be teaching. This is where the rubber meets the road.
So first, let's just bust a common myth, one you're likely to see as a true-false question. The statement, CALL is mainly useful for oral skills, is false. Totally false. The truth is, technology has the power to supercharge and revolutionize all 4 language skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Let's take a look at how.
Let's start with reading. Now, you might see a question suggesting that reading something on a screen is pretty much the same as reading it on paper. No, that is false. The way we navigate and process a text online, jumping around with links, it's a fundamentally different skill. CALL can be a fantastic partner for teaching reading. Some software can give students timed exercises to help them read faster, and it can make a story come alive with video, audio, and hyperlinks. An MCQ might ask how CALL helps with reading, and these points right here would be your answers. But as a teacher, you also have to help your students with the new challenges, like how to avoid distractions or figure out which online sources are actually trustworthy. All right, let's talk about writing. And just like with reading, your exam is going to test you on the idea that writing online is not the same as writing with a pen. So there's another true or false question for you. If a statement says the processes are the same, you know it's false. And we can actually use these differences to our advantage. I mean, think about it. Word processors and tools like Google Docs completely transform the writing process. Editing and revising become so much smoother. This tech lets us take a more functional, real-world approach. Students can write blogs, emails, or work together on documents. The multiple choice questions are going to focus on these tools, asking how word processors help with writing. And here's a bonus. Studies have shown that it actually increases the amount of time students spend focused on the task of writing.
So what about listening? There's a key true-false question in your back about whether this skill has been neglected by CALL. The answer is a huge, resounding false. If anything, listening is one of the skills that has benefited the most from modern tech. The days of being stuck in a clunky old language lab are long, long gone.
And this huge change is all thanks to 2 things: multimedia and the web. We now have a practically endless library of authentic listening material right at our fingertips. Podcasts, news clips, videos, songs, you name it. An MCQ is probably going to ask which technologies have helped listening practice the most. The answer will be multimedia and the internet. Students can now practice listening whenever they want, wherever they want, right on their own devices. It's a massive leap forward.
And finally, let's tie this all together with communication. This is where the computer's role as a medium really truly shines. It completely breaks down the classroom walls and makes language learning feel real and authentic. Simple tools like email and chat can connect your students with native speakers all over the planet. This gives them amazing opportunities for real, authentic interaction. Now for your exam, you have to connect these tools with the theory behind them. An MCQ is going to ask which theory supports this kind of communication, and the answer is sociocultural learning theory, which is all about how we learn through interacting with other people.
I want to leave you with this really powerful, kind of mind-bending idea. Some experts say that the ultimate goal of CALL is for it to go extinct. This is the basis for a key true or false question in your bank. So what on earth does that mean? It means the technology becomes so normal, so perfectly integrated into the classroom that we don't even need a special name for it anymore. It just becomes teaching. Like we don't say pen-assisted writing. So if that question asks if the extinction of CALL means normalization has been reached, the answer is absolutely true.
And so that brings us to the very last question. And this one's for you. As you get ready to step into your own classrooms, think about this. How are you going to make technology an invisible, natural, essential part of your teaching? How will you be the one to help us reach that stage of normalization? That right there is the real challenge and the real opportunity.